Happy Friday, Kathy.
Happy, very cold Friday, Michelle. Is it cold up by you? You got snow behind you, so it's cold.
It is actually starting to snow outside my window.
Yeah.
But it's sideways snow because the winds are horrible up here right now. It's like I don't know if you'll be able to hear them as they whip by my window at all, but it's yeah, it's been raining since yesterday and now it's freezing. So I think we're headed for an ice storm and then snow on top of that. So but I can't complain too much because Buffalo, where my daughter lives, is getting hit way harder again. And
Oh, not
she's been,
again.
well, I don't remember how long ago it was. Is it right after Thanksgiving? They got like 4 or 5 feet in one day.
Yeah.
Um, it took them a couple days to dig out from that. And then, yeah, my daughter sends me videos and she does like, she'll set up her phone in the window and do time lapse so I can watch the snow go from nothing to like 4 feet in about 10 minutes.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah, upstate New York snow is like no other place that I've ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Chicago was bad. I thought Michigan Lake effect was bad, but no. Upstate New York, Buffalo, Rochester doesn't get it as bad as Buffalo ever, does it? Or
No,
sometimes?
usually one or the other of us will get it bad. So, like, if we get it bad, Buffalo didn't, and vice versa. But I will say Buffalo gets it worse than we do. Absolutely. And I think it's because, well, the jet streams have a lot to do with it, obviously. But the jet streams are also impacted by the Great Lakes. And
Yeah.
so by the time you get to Buffalo, you've gone through three of the five, and then you're sitting on Erie and Ontario with the Niagara River right there. And so they get like the crux of all of it. And so we get a lot too, but it depends. So we'll usually get the same weather as Toronto
Mm.
because they're literally right across the lake on a really still night, always in the summer because of the weather. But on a really clear, still night, you can go to the lake and you can actually see the lights from Toronto across the lake,
Oh,
even though it's like
cool.
40 miles. It's really cool. Yeah.
Wow, that's neat.
See the glow. It's pretty neat. Definitely not this time of year with the snow and the wind and everything else, all the clouds, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But so the weather. So I am choosing to be grateful in spite of the weather because well, this week, I don't know how many people know this, but I had COVID. So I actually don't think I got it at State of the Word because I tested positive on Saturday, which wasn't enough of a turnaround time. So I don't know where I got it from, groceries or something, or Starbucks. I don't know. Um, but I've got all my vaccines. So I've got the original plus 4 boosters. I got my flu shot recently, got the fifth booster or the fourth booster shot. And the vaccines are not so that you don't get it, so that you get a lighter case. And I will say that as miserable as this week has been, I'm definitely grateful that it wasn't worse.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse. And as silly as this sounds, I have the worst taste in my mouth. I was telling you beforehand, it tastes like bile all week. Some people say metallic taste. No, it just tastes like plain straight up bile in my mouth from the Paxlovid. I hope I'm saying that right. Medication. But I have tested negative already today because of the medication. So I'm still congested. I still have a raspy voice, and I'm still tired. But this was so much quicker than it could have been. When I was sick in 2020, I was in the hospital 4 times over 9 weeks. It
Wow.
was miserable. So like, yeah, I'll take this like light flu feeling type thing for a week over that any day. So grateful
Yeah,
for
that's
modern
good.
medicine and that in 3 years of dealing with this pandemic that they've come so far in helping us not get as sick as we could.
Yeah,
So
that's good. Yeah, I saw you on Monday on This Week in WordPress, and I was just like, oh
I
no.
sounded
And
so
so
bad.
been checking in. Even I'm like washing dishes or whatever, and I'm like, I hope Michelle's okay. And then I'll go like, oh, good. She commented on somebody on Facebook. She's okay, good. Just like
She's still
just
among the
checking
living.
in, just worrying
Well,
about you a little bit because I knew how
yeah,
how I know how it can be. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I was only really down with COVID. I had it last year. My husband got it when he was in the medical. He was in rehab and they did not do proper protocols. And
Mm-hmm.
he got it and got it pretty bad. Plus, he having had the stroke and everything, it was pretty bad. And so because they did not follow proper procedures, they actually ended up infecting me, and then I couldn't even go see him because I was so sick.
Right.
And it was bad for like 2 to 3 days, and then I was
Yeah.
fine. But every once in a while I would just get like super dizzy. Like I really felt like I
Yeah.
was doing a somersault. Like I'd just be driving and I'm like, gosh, that does not feel right. It was the weirdest thing. I was okay and everything, but it was just like out of nowhere. Somersault feels strange.
It is
This is the
strange.
strangest virus I've ever dealt with in my life. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I will agree with that 100%. But I will also tell you that there have been some really good things this week. So I am so grateful for Instacart, for example,
Yeah.
because I mean I use it anyway, and I know that I pay more for my groceries. I give an enormous tip because it's a percentage and whatever, but I can't grocery shop for myself easily because my mobility issues. Even if I can grocery shop and get the groceries in the car, I can't get them from the car into my kitchen. So Instacart, like the guy brought my groceries yesterday. So I've got all my groceries for Christmas, making lasagna. If anybody wants my recipe, it's phenomenal. Anyway, hit me up on Twitter or Mastodon or wherever you are. But the guy just, I shouted from the couch. I'm like, could you just put him inside the door? And he's like, sure. And then so he puts him inside the door, he leaves. And then my neighbor upstairs, Julia, who went to Stay to the Word, I got a ticket as a brand new user. Love that. She came down and she put all my groceries away for me. She also has COVID. So she's like, she had a very light case. Hers was like a little sniffles basically. And not being able to taste much, but so we were both positive. So she came and put my groceries away anyway. So, and just super grateful for the opportunities to do all my Christmas shopping through Amazon and online shopping, and get all my groceries through Instacart and things like that. That I am able to continue to function fully and work from home when I do feel up to working. I did take a full day off. I don't remember what day it was, Tuesday maybe, and half a day Wednesday. Yesterday was kind of like a little bit on and then a little bit down and then a little bit on. So like, and my team has been so awesome about like, just get better, just get better. And so there's a lot to be grateful for. And sometimes getting sick is a way to cement for you those things for which you should have gratitude, right? I'm still among the living. I didn't infect my parents. Like, we've kept our distance. I have things sent to them if they need it. All of those things that could otherwise be problematic. I've just been able to kind of cocoon, but because of Zoom and FaceTime, I've still been able to feel connected to the rest of the world. And so there is much to be grateful for. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think about all the things that I buy on Amazon. Okay. Oh, well, we need that. Okay, here, let me just throw it in the cart. And it'll come, whenever, within a few days. Just if I had to run out every single time to get stuff, it would just be, I'd never have any time to myself. It's just that ridiculous. How did we do it before?
Honestly, I don't know. I think we went without a lot, right? It's really convenient. Like, so I live in a condo. Julia, my neighbor, lives upstairs. So she's like right there, and we text each other constantly. So the other day I got in bed early because I was really cold. This is about 2 weeks ago. Suddenly I hear an alarm and I'm like, what was that? Did I really hear something? And I like waited. I'm like laying in bed at 5 o'clock because it's warm. And I'm like, and I hear it again, like 3 minutes later. So I texted her. I'm like, there's an alarm going off at my house and I don't know what it is. She's like, I'll be right down. So she comes down and I'm sitting in the hallway trying to figure out like, where's this noise coming from? And at that point I realized that because I bought my parents' condo. It's only 1,400 square feet, which is sizable. I'm not complaining. But in the hallway, it's a short hallway. There are 4 smoke detectors in one small hallway. And then the laundry room, which is off the hallway, has 2 smoke detectors and a CO2 detector. What was my mother so afraid? She must be terrified that the place is going to burn down. So we determined it was a CO2 detector, and that it was at end of life. So if it like had actually been, or not CO2, CO detector, right? Carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
We all have carbon dioxide. You know what I meant. So anyway, it was at the end of its life, and it does that like alarm to let you know that, you don't replace filters on those, you throw it away, you get a new one. And so like I went online, I had the next one in 3 days, plugged it back into the wall because Amazon. So it's keeping me
Nice.
safe, keeping me healthy.
And you just reminded me, I don't have one of those, and I probably should have one. I had one.
It's safer.
Where do we have it? Oh yeah, my husband had one in when we lived in Mount Shasta. We were living in this house that had radiant floor heat, but to turn it on was like the guy who built the house, he's like, yeah, if you can go without, just go without, unless you like an $800 a month heating bill. And we were just like, I guess we're going without. And winters there were never that traumatic. So we had a wood stove. So we just like lived with a wood stove for like a decade, right? I didn't have any, but he bought this carbon monoxide. I'm like, there's like nothing that would, he's like, well, there's the water heater. But now I've got like gas heat, and like I should have one.
Yeah.
But I think
in a condo, so my bedroom is right next to the laundry room, which is also the hot water tank and the furnace. So like having all of those appliances in one little room like that, it's a good idea to have a CO monitor. But
that's my alarm.
Which dog is that? Is that?
That's Milo, the
Dachshund puppy.
The Dachshund. Yeah. Oh my gosh, every little thing. Yeah. So who knows? It could have just been a branch from one of the bushes hitting the window, but it's like, so. And he's just going to keep going. Milo.
That's okay.
And then my golden retriever, who could be somewhat scary to like an intruder or something, never barks. He's just kind of like, guess something's going on. But dachshunds, I didn't know when I got the dachshund how like apparently they're like major league barkers. So,
well, they were actually bred to be war dogs. Dachshunds are actually, they were bred to be like terrifying ankle biters.
He is, of any dog I've ever met, he's so sweet and cuddly and wonderful, but there is Cujo inside that. Like you put a toy and you just like play a little bit and it's like, and he's just, he will kill.
Like remember the genie from Aladdin, the animated movie?
Yeah.
It's like enormous power in your living face. That's your dog.
And he's a mini dachshund too, so he's just he can't do anything.
I love when you post pictures of him because he's so cute.
Yeah. He's adorable and he's really sweet. And loud. And usually I'll put him upstairs when we record, so Claire will watch him.
It's all good.
But hopefully he'll realize that.
I have a cat who's like on the desk just out of frame, who likes if I had the headphones off and she could hear, she'd be looking at you trying to figure out how she's hearing you. It's so funny. But also annoying because she's right in the middle of my face. But it's so funny. Thinking about things that are, I'm grateful for. Maybe we'll do a little bit more of that next week too at the end of the year. But I lost my dad this year, as we've talked about before, and it takes forever for estates to actually work through all the stuff that they have to do. But I did get a little bit of money this week from his estate. And I'm grateful that I was able to pay off my COVID bills. When I had COVID in 2020, I didn't have insurance and I owed the bank over $5,000, or the hospital over $5,000. And so that's been paid off now, which is really good. And I bought myself a new camera in memory of my dad. And so I'm a fairly decent photographer, but I bought a mirrorless and I took it to the zoo a couple weekends ago. I finally got around to looking at the pictures. I suck at taking pictures with this camera, but that's only because I haven't practiced yet. I will be amazing with this camera eventually. I'm bound and determined, but it's really nice because it's smaller, it takes up less space, and I can actually travel with it a lot easier. But so yeah, so it's interesting. Not everybody who passes is able to leave a legacy or able to leave money for their family. And my father planned accordingly and was able to provide a little bit for us. And so, although I miss him terribly, I'm grateful for the fact that he was able to do that for us.
That is so nice. What a blessing. That's
Yeah.
just so nice. And I'm so glad you did something to not just like, okay, well, I'll save this for the future, but something, a little something is a treat for
Yeah.
yourself, to a new toy to play with. But yeah,
Yes.
cameras are like, well, anything really. It's kind of like you're sort of the conductor of a new orchestra, right? You've got a new
Yeah.
tool that you're using, and it has to become an extension of you. And so there's like a relationship that has to develop there.
Yeah.
So you take such beautiful pictures, especially I love it when you go
Thank
out
you.
for the nature photos. It's like, I mean, I try to take pictures, just like, yeah, I guess not. But you just capture wildlife in such a beautiful way. I'm just
Well, thank
astonished
you.
with the pictures you take.
Well, I love to tell people that if you love my photography, not that I'm patting myself on the back, maybe a little, but not too much, but if you love my photography, think about the fact that almost every one of those nature photos is taken from the front seat of my car. Like
Wow.
because I don't walk well. I try to drive places where I can see wildlife, and I have my cameras on the passenger side. And I mean, I'm not driving and taking pictures at the same time. Like, don't everybody worry that I'm like not paying attention to the road, but I do pull over when I see things. And like this, I got some really great eagle shots about a year ago, literally through the passenger side window. I got some pictures of this eagle flying with a huge carp in its talons. And so I was just like,
Wow.
from my car, like, that's just so crazy.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, but it's nice to live
So
in a
fun.
place where there's such great wildlife too.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully I'll learn this camera better. And like, and through the back of it, like, this one doesn't, it doesn't have a viewfinder like I like with my DSLR cameras, right? So you just look at the picture on the back and you snap it. I thought they all looked great. Then I got home and I was like, well, there's 3 shots out of 40 that I would actually show somebody. And
Yeah.
two of them are in the repository already, the photo project. So if you're interested,
Oh,
take a
cool.
picture of a frog and some lights are in there. But
Nice.
so
Yeah.
so what are you hoping for Christmas?
That the water we're having a deep
Yeah.
freeze right now in Texas, and it came in, the wind like yesterday morning I went for a walk with the dogs and it was 45 degrees, everything was fine, and then the wind just out of nowhere, and within 5 minutes it dropped 6 degrees, and I was just like, oh, I guess snow miser's here. Snow miser's here. I guess the whole north versus
Yeah.
south thing isn't working. And I had gone the way our house is, we have like this manifold upstairs that has like the water pipes go out from that. And I went upstairs and wrapped blankets around it because I knew that was what my husband did a couple years ago when we had a deep freeze in Texas. And so I thought I did a good job. But by noon, 1 o'clock, I went around just to test it. Oh gosh, well, I guess I'm not taking a bath. I guess it's okay, but oh my gosh, I hope nothing bad is happening. I mean, I grew up in Chicago area, so everything was insulated. And if you had like 24 below, you did dripping faucets and stuff like that. And 10 degrees should not cause my house isn't well, they just don't insulate well for cold down here. They don't deal with cold. All the houses are built to withstand heat.
Yeah.
And so like it's just, so I'm stressed out this morning. So I'm just hoping I don't think we're going to thaw out till Christmas really. So I'm hoping
it's a good thing you look good in a ponytail.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not taking a shower. I think I have one shower that works, but I'm just not, it's so cold in my house right now. I'm wearing like all my, I'm wearing all my outside clothes inside.
I love it. When the turtleneck comes up to your eyes to keep your face warm.
Pretty much. I'm just like, this is what I wore when I went outside with a jacket over and a hat and had to walk the dogs and like yelling at them, do your business, come on, it's cold. They're gonna have to go like every hour, I think. They're just like, where's our walk? We go at least a couple miles. I walk him about a couple miles every morning.
Yeah.
Not the dachshund so much, but the golden, he needs his exercise. So I make sure he gets it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
wait,
I'm
how
not
cold
doing
is it
anything
there?
for it's right now. It was 11 this morning. It's 16 now.
It's colder there than it is here in New York.
Isn't that
It's 20,
crazy?
it's 26 and windy, it says. But also it's starting to snow and the wind is like 40 miles an hour. So well, probably like 20 miles an hour, but I exaggerate a lot when it comes to wind because I just hate it.
So on my phone, I keep everybody's weather. Like I have everybody's weather and I
I
keep
do
an eye on things because my son's in Minnesota and I'm like, oh, it's 7 below there. And Mount Shasta, I got to know what everybody's
Yep.
weather is. So my husband's from upstate New York and
Yep.
it's 33 and snowing for the next hour over by Syracuse. So
Yeah,
keep an
Syracuse is
eye on
actually not
things.
supposed to get it as bad as Rochester and Buffalo.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Wow.
definitely Buffalo's getting hit. My daughter just texted me road closures, and I'll keep you updated because they're supposed to come in on Sunday morning for Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm really hoping. So she doesn't listen to the podcast. I can tell you all, I made for her the same thing I made for Matt Mullenweg. Different faces, of course, but I
Yeah.
made her a Guess Who game of all her friends. And I mean, she's a 30-year-old woman, so I don't know all her friends anymore. It's not like when they were like in third grade and you knew it was all the people in her
Yeah.
class, right? So her husband was in on it with me, and we shared a note in Apple, like Apple Notes from your phones.
Yeah.
And so he like added a bunch of people, and thank God he put like last names on there for a lot of them because he was supposed to help me get people to send me their picture, but his father passed away the week of Thanksgiving. So obviously I wasn't going to be asking him for a lot of help. So I stalked everybody. Like I was all over like Lydia's Facebook. And then like it says Ian, like maybe hopefully there's only one Ian. Oh, look, she only has one Ian. I hope that's the Ian, right? So
Yeah.
like I'm like stealing people's photos off of Facebook. I'm
That's
like,
so
it's
funny.
public, and putting them in this Guess Who game. And then also like her friend Amanda, who was in her wedding, and I messaged her on Instagram. I'm like, I need help me get people, and so she starts sending me people with their names, and so it's 24 faces in a Guess Who game, and I got 24 people on there, including my niece that hangs out with her a lot and things like that. So Lydia is getting a Guess Who game. I hope, and I'm so excited about it on Sunday morning. And when she opens it and she just sees the Guess Who game, I'm going to be like, oh, I found your game from when you were a kid. I thought you'd want it back. And like, it's not, but she might believe that because I had to unwrap it to put it all together. I'll be like, what did you look at? Open it up and see which one was your favorite again, and then she's gonna be like, oh my God, these are all my friends. It probably won't go anything like that, but in my head, that's like the perfect
Yeah.
way that this is all gonna go down.
That's so funny. I love that just sort of individualized, very specific to someone that you care about kind of gift. That's just perfect.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that better. I'm just kind of like this, that, whatever.
Well,
Okay, they can use this.
you're kind of in survival mode still, though. It's been a
I
year,
am.
yeah, but it's not like your husband is back to normal. Like there's there's no back to normal in his situation. So life
It's
changed for you a lot.
the new
The
normal.
new normal. Yeah.
He woke me up at 3:00. No, it's 3:30. And he was just like antsy, like grunting. And I'm like, in the dark, are you okay? How do you know I'm here? I'm like, because there's only one other person in this room and it's you. Or sometimes he's like, who's that? Like he'll hear my voice and he just wakes up because where the stroke happened in his brain, he lost. So every day is kind of like a Groundhog Day. It's getting a lot
Yeah.
better. Like he remembers the movie he watched last week. Oh, he'll remember what we had for dinner last night. Now, though, that short-term memory stuff is coming back, but a lot of that was wiped out. And sometimes he just says the craziest, funniest. Last week he said, oh no, this was just the other day. He said, do you like to judge the bad people? I'm like, I guess that's what they're there for. Yeah, I do. I judge bad people. And he's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, how do you play this game? And he's like, I don't know. I thought you had the rules. Just like,
oh my gosh.
I mean, it's just such a bizarre conversation, but it's
Yeah.
so funny. It just slays me every time. And I'm like, all right, let's look at this guy on TV. He might be a bad person, and I just like play this game.
How
I
do
just
you
keep
judge
rolling
him?
with it. It's some of the funniest stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, so I was he had me up at midnight the night before, and then up at 3:30 in the morning last night. And then the cat woke me
Wow.
up because I had to like block off the bathroom because I had to open up all this cabinets and I didn't want her into stuff. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Why is this door closed?" She was just like, "It's closed because of you. It's
It's not supposed
you."
to be like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know how cats are with like closed doors, just
Yeah.
like, "What? Why is this
Yep.
closed?" I
I
have
have a cat.
complaints.
I have a cat who I have litter boxes are in the storage room. So I don't have a basement. I don't have anything like that. So they're in the storage room. I keep the storage room door open because obviously they have to have access.
Yeah.
So I have 3 cats. One of them will do her business, scratch the litter back over it, and then scratch the wall, the floor. Like she'll go on for 10 minutes. I'll finally yell like enough, and she'll come out like, what? I was just cleaning up. It's so funny. Oh
I've
my
got
goodness.
routines too, Michelle.
Right? I know, like,
You're the cat mind.
excuse me.
Oh,
Great.
I love my
Crazy.
animals, but sometimes they just drive me nuts. But
Yeah.
I put up with a lot for the people and the fur-enabled family members that I love.
Yeah.
I will put up with a lot, but yeah.
But
Life is
I do have a burning point. Like there is a point where I'm like, okay, enough already.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. So the other thing is I have a friend who does woodworking, and I
Yeah.
had him cut some slabs of maple and make charcuterie boards. So one for me and then one for Lydia. So she's getting that for Christmas too.
Oh, nice.
So everything isn't off her Amazon wish list. So there are surprises in there too.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
my daughter just got horse stuff, but I don't
That's what she
buy.
wants, right?
That's what she wants. Yeah, she's just 100% all about horses all the time. So
Yeah,
horse stuff.
exactly. Well, that's good. Well, I hope that you have wonderful holiday weekend. I hope that everybody listening to us had a wonderful holiday weekend because it'll be over by the time we publish this.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at the new year. So happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Well, we'll have next week. I want to talk about, I'd love for you to think about this too, because I'm trying to
Sure.
really I really want to set some goals for 2023. And I'm like
Yeah.
reading, other people are writing about their goals, and I'm really trying to consider what are the things that I want for 2023. Like
Yeah.
I want to aim high. So I'd love to know what you
Ooh,
want for next year.
I'm
Can
going
we
to put
talk
some
about
thought
that?
into that. We can, and I will come with my ideas.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Merry
Yes.
Christmas. Happy
Merry
holidays,
Christmas to
all that
you.
stuff.
And yeah, absolutely. I know we both celebrate Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you. And to all of our listeners, whatever holiday you're celebrating, we hope it's a good one.